Hey, what's going on? Today I just want to discuss, views on or my views on religion, and well, because I'm no longer a religious person. I used to be Christian, but has I've always been skeptical about it since I was about 12 years old. And I remember the first time I actually asked a question to my pastor was when I was 12 at a Christian camp, and I asked him, why they don't mention Jesus when, around, when he was my age at 12. And then the best answer he could come up with at the time was because, and always some type of pacifying answer was, well, because they don't want to tell you that, he fell down, scraped his knee and stuff like that, but at the time at 12, I was like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. Um, but as I just continue to educate myself, and I just see that the whole idea of religion is based off of fear, the fear of the unknown, because nobody knows what happens when we die, and I think that's where you know religion you know comes into play. Um, but also, I don't think religion is really the answer. I think religion just stops us from asking questions. Like, because religion doesn't just cloud our minds, it tells us to completely and deliberately deceive ourselves by replacing reason with faith. And any man that operates on faith can no longer be reasoned with, which makes him or her dangerous than any sane person, whether good or evil. Like, and this is one doctor show. It's Doctor House. I saw this. It was this one episode in particular where he said that if you can reason with, if you can reason with religious people, there will be no more religious people. And another thing, because I wrote a few things down, because I did want to make some solid points, just about how you know back in the day, like, well, I mean, now we're gonna just backtrack, especially like because being black, why we believe in religion in the first place. Because what I don't understand is that now we're back when we were slaves, that if everything of substance was stripped from the slave, such as reading, culture, or language, and etc., why the hell was religion allowed? Because I'm sure there was some type of agenda. And another reason that made me, that was just pretty much an eye opener, was about 4 or 5 years ago when my pastor told me about the whole, that's when the whole homosexual and gay rights stuff was going out, and he was nervous because there was things he couldn't preach about in the Bible because fear of losing the government grant which the churches receive. Well, not all, I'm sure, but some churches receive government grants, and if he was to speak about that, he was in fear of losing that grant. So that just kind of like, damn, if you can't speak about all this, if you can't speak about everything in the Bible, I mean, I just feel that there must be some sort of agenda that's trying to be pushed. And another thing that I want to point out is that, to me, it just don't make sense because, I mean, if you were born in Israel, you'll probably be Jewish. And if you were born in Saudi Arabia, you'll more than likely be Muslim. And if you're born in India, you'll probably be like Hindu. And of course, born in America, you're more than likely to be Christian. So I don't believe that your faith is inspired by some divine constant truth. I believe, that it's simple geography. And then just being a black man, we need to definitely question that shit, because we got to understand that the reason why this whole religion got going is because we were tied to a whipping post until we accepted it. It wasn't just, it didn't just run it by us and like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. We was forced to accept that shit. We was drug out in front of the whole plantation and whipped until we accepted it. And you ain't gonna, no parent is gonna subject a child to that type of torture. So of course you're gonna accept it, so you don't keep getting them whelps on your damn back. And another thing, man, we gotta understand that fucking Christianity was invented by the Romans. That's a copycat of a copycat. And that, you know, in the Egyptian Bible we were kings and queens, but in this Christian Bible we're slaves and peasants. Like, and we're slaves and peasants and cursed black, all because in the Christian Bible Ham stumbled or saw his father black or drunk and laughed at him, so he cursed him to be black. So he cursed him with the best gift possible, which made him the best, most suitable human being for this planet, because we're melanated, and melanin consists of 6 protons, 6 neurons, and 6 electrons, which all it does is absorb and reflect UV sunlight. That's why, you know, black people, we don't burn and blister, or you know, there ain't too many cases, especially black people, dying from skin cancer. I mean, that's all fucking white people dying from skin cancer pretty much. But also, you know, the whole melanin thing, I mean, just a little lesson. They coat a synthetic melanin coat on NASA spaceship so it doesn't burn up as it leaves Earth's atmosphere. So, I mean, that's just something to think about. And we need to let that shit go, because there's no reason that we should know so much about someone else's culture or fucking fairy tales, and we don't know about ourselves, because we got to understand it's proof that we come from greatness, and they haven't dug not one nigga up from the Bible. But they still digging up them Egyptians and shit like that, and all the gold and all that shit. So we gotta really let that shit go. Not to mention, like, it's nothing but pimp shit. Like, God working mysterious in ways. So we can't continue to give him credit for, you know, all the good shit and not give him credit for the bad shit either, because the thing is that if he's responsible for your food and your house and all the good shit you doing, he's also responsible for them niggas that's homeless, starving, and all that other shit. So we can't just give him the positive credit. And, you know, like, another thing, lean not on your own understanding. All that means to me is that let me think for you. Like, come on, man. I understand how this shit got rolling, but why it's still rolling? And I mean, we gotta think, man, because that shit was designed to keep us submissive, and that's the last thing we need to do, is be submissive. Because since I've been freeing my mind, you know, I just been being more, wanting to be more self-sufficient and seeking financial freedom. And you know, that you see, that's what's pissing them off now today, because we putting our own money in our black banks. I mean, like, you know, because we are the majority, so they don't want that, because we have, that will end white supremacy if we continue on this path by sticking together and all that shit. Like, that's crazy, but I don't know. We just gotta let that shit go, so we can be better and, you know, just do better. I mean, and when you start waking up, don't let people put you back to sleep, because when you start questioning it, it's not gonna make sense, and then you're gonna start questioning it, and then don't let them put you back to sleep by telling you that's God testing your faith. No, nigga, that's you waking up and you seeing shit for what it really is, man. So continue to wake up, question that shit, and be better, man. That's it. I'm gone.